Welcome, Diablo 4 enjoyers. I got great news for you. They actually reworked Season 8 after the disaster that was the PDR. Too many things nerfed, Torment 4 being too hard, pit tier scaling being that you can't even beat a tier 70 without having trillions of damage. Let me wrap together the most mattering changes that might make you want to play Season 8, or not. Let's find out together. First, let's address the elephant in the room. The experience reward reduction between levels 1 and 25 has been lessened to create a smaller difference between this season and last season. What they wanted to do is they wanted to slow down our leveling because we're leveling too fast. On average, it took the player 8 hours to get to level 60. Most people did it in 3 to 4. And for some reason, they wanted it to take 15 hours. That was their initial plan. Thankfully, that's out of the window now. Not only that though, the Spectre Ash to upgrade your boss powers you'll get this season has been lowered, and you're dropping more than ever now. Plus, probably the most important one, the monster health increase per pit tier has been lessened to create a smaller difference between this season and last season. This used to be a 20 times different per pit tier. We had pit 70s and pit 80s. Where you needed trillions of damage already, super billions, to even remotely get there without an absolute high tier S tier pit glyph 100 build. Nothing was happening. And instead of that X20 difference, it's more of a 6 to 7 pit tiers harder. Torment 4 used to be pit 65. Now Torment 4 is more like pit 72. That should still be achievable by most in the community. Also, very good news on the apparition incursions. This is what you're going to be doing in this season to get yourself boss powers. You'll spawn these mini bosses during an event inside Sanctuary and get Spectre Ash there too. The problem with these events was they're kind of unfun and useless, because they took a while to do, and the only thing you got was one boss power and barely any loot. Now they're going to be whispers that even if you do them in late game, you're still getting something out of it. You still get your whisper caches, and since they bring back the ancestral whisper cache, you can get quite some loot out of it. And in case you're unaware, this is how we're fighting bosses in Season 8. You will still gather Malignant Hearts, Living Steel, Distant Fear, Exquisite Blood, and Judicator's Mask for the initiate layer bosses, and then you'll need 2 of those to actually claim the loot. Yes, you can fight them at any time. I can join Torment 1 and fight the Beast of Ice. He will not drop a single thing. He'll drop a box. And if I then have Distilled Fear, I can open the Beast of Ice. And you will, for example, need 2 Living Steel then to claim Grégoire's loot. The Living Steel, you still standard get in the Helltide. That being said, Helltide chests drop more Living Steel. Nightmare Dungeons drop more Distilled Fear. The Blood Maiden gets you more Exquisite Blood. Legion events too, World Bosses too. So in general, you get more of the keys to then be able to claim more loot for yourself, because you can't share your own loot with someone else. If you then kill Grieg or Varshan, they'll drop Shards of Agony. You can kill Duriel and claim his loot with said Shard of Agony. You only need 3 of those though, instead of 4 now. And while you kill any boss, Varsh, Grieg, Beast, Zur, Urvar, Duriel, and Dariel, Harbinger, there is a chance that you'll get ambushed by surprise Belial, I think. And after killing Belial, he'll drop Betrayer's Husks. I think 2 of them. And you'll need 12 in total to fight the Lord of Lies. The big one, the big Belial. This brings us to the loot changes. The first unique item dropped by a lair boss will be from their unique pool, okay? Item number 1 drops is always from their pool of uniques. And then further unique items will have a 50% chance to be from the general unique pool. And in Torment Difficulty 3, an additional guaranteed unique item from the item pool would drop. And I think Torment 4 has another additional one as well. And if you kill a lair boss in a party, you can't share the loot, yes. Each of you individually opens their own boss chest, but if you play with a party, lair bosses have a 33% chance per additional party member to drop an extra unique item from the unique pool. It's not 33 plus 33 plus 33 with 3 party members. Each party member gives you an additional chance to get more loot. And rejoice, ladies and gentlemen, the Purveyor of Curiosities is buffed again, the guy where you put your obols in. Finally, if you buy a full inventory from him, like spend all 2,000 obols, you'll get guaranteed 2 or 3 ancestral items, and finally uniques will pop out. In general, you should get to 70-80% legendaries, which means if you're looking for a certain aspect, if I want to have a shockwave aspect as a druid, I'll buy weapons. If I'm looking for a resource aspect, I'll buy rings. But since I get 70-80% legendaries later on in torment tiers, I'm guaranteed to find that aspect faster and not be stuck looking for one all the time. Generally, what changes for leveling, you won't be getting legendary items that early. Let's say by level 30, 25 to 30, you'll finally start seeing them more and more and be legendaried out, but not before that much. Before, you'll mostly get magic items, and magic items now have 2 affixes, and also rare items. Rare items having 3 affixes again, which makes them worth it to actually be turned into legendaries. Before, rare items were useless. That being said, from level 40, 50 on, you're mostly going to be bothing in legendaries again. Still though, that's kind of like a change to the early game now, which also will slow down the leveling, because you're mostly going to be having magics and rares instead of already having your aspects with all the legendaries by level 15. Now talk about the boss powers. Most of them got nerfed, sadly. Main reason is they used to be your main build. You could make a Wandering Death's chest beam build. Now they're supportive, still do quite some damage, but you're not going to be able to make a build that's just the boss power. Which is a little bit sad because I liked boss power builds. I mean, that's why I play Season 8. They're still strong and will support you to have an easier time this season. That being said, a lot of the nerfs get taken back and characters get buffed even more. The Barbarian gets a Whirlwind buff to be stronger than ever, while they heavily nerf the Executioner's aspect, so Earthquake Barbarians are not dominating like crazy. It now gives less bonus per strength, 5 instead of 15%, and the damage is kept at 200%. You used to be able, with 4,000 strength, to, well, make this like triple this bonus. Triple. For Druid, they really want you to play Storm Strike, Human Form, blasting the enemies with lightning. Okay, we'll see if we can make that work. Then Necromancer get a Bloodwave buff again, and it's not really a buff because Bloodwave got trashed. It had 100 times less damage than in Season 7, but now in Season 8, it gets a little bit damage back. Not much though. Bloodlance also gets buffed to always hit opponents. It's still going to be bad. I'm sorry, but Bloodlines will still be bad. Maybe Bone Spear will finally work properly because they fix a lot of Bone Spear bugs. For Rogue, we had a domination of Death Trap. They tried to bring it a bit lower by lowering the damage and cutting into the cooldown you can do. That being said, you can still get the Death Trap through the old cooldown you had in Season 7 to like really spam it out and do tons of damage. It will only take you a little bit longer. For the Sorcerer, they really want you to live the Ice Shard fantasy, and they in general buffed the Avalanche key passive to now be 30% less Frost skill mana, and also 60% increased damage, and another 25% against vulnerable enemies. So with this key passive, 85% more damage, and every Frost skill is just cheaper. And for people who like to get your glyphs to level 100 without actually doing pit 100, they added something, the odds at which you can upgrade Paragon glyphs when your pit tier is lower than your glyph has been adjusted. This means if your glyph is, for example, level 50, and you're doing a pit tier 40, you can still upgrade that glyph. Or if your glyph is later tier 70, and you're doing a pit 60, then you can actually upgrade said glyph. That didn't used to be possible. If I do a pit tier 60 to upgrade a 70 glyph, it's a 0% chance to upgrade. I think that will make some people happy that are not so good and can't do higher pit tiers, but still want to grind out the levels on their glyphs. That being said, you never need a glyph 100. Glyph 45 is all you need to make builds work and even dominate Torment 4. So yeah, sure, change, but you don't need it. There's also an update regarding the seasonal journey, because now you're getting your spectral ashes different. And this will actually change the way how you play. Right now we have two things, the Battle Pass, and the Battle Pass gave us Smoldering Ashes that we can then convert into Seasonal Blessings for more XP, the Purveyor giving us more items, getting more masterworking materials. Like, you wanted these. But you had to level up the Battle Pass for that and be the appropriate level to pick them up. What happens now is that these Smoldering Ashes are being moved into the Season Journey, and the Season Journey goals generally being reworked. This means if I now finish Chapter 1, instead of just getting these 4 boxes, I will also get a Smoldering Ash on top to then spend on my seasonal blessings. And as you can see, this is a tier 4 rewards now, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus boss rewards. Master at Work. Use Blacksmith to increase your gear's power beyond what's possible. Masterwork 8 times, for example, or unlock Paragon nodes into the pit. Get to Torment 2. All of these individually also give you another reward. So another cash. You get the cash for finishing it with Ancestral Gear, and then you get a cash on top. And then later, with these 3 skulls, you do actually have boss kill rewards, which individually seem to drop you Smoldering Ashes as well. For example, kill Uberlith, kill Lord Belial. Generally speaking, you might actually care about finishing these now early on. Usually I just let them happen, I don't look at this. But knowing that I can get my Ash very quick for then bonus experience, I'll probably more pay attention to what I need to do in one, like acquire Cinders from Helltide, open a Tortured Chest, World Event. Sure, I'll just simply do these to fast track to then go for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th that I have like 4 ashes or 8 ashes already to spend on my seasonal blessings. Last time I finished this after I was done. So I was done with the season. I had every single character to 60, and then I actually managed to finish this to get the Raven. I didn't care before for this, but now while playing, I'll consciously look out to boost myself and all my characters. Now, all of that being said, this is kind of it for the season. So if you're not necessarily digging boss powers and no actually new endgame content and just simply reworks, buffs, and balances, you might probably still not return. That being said, I'm looking forward to level every single class up to 60 again, see which builds are dominating now and how far we can actually push the boss powers, and to provide you some fun new builds to try out. Are you coming back with me? Are you going to give this a try? Disappointed? Vent yourself in the comments below. Would like to hear from you. And if you're looking already for a build that we could potentially still make work, here's an insight on Belial's I-Beam fun. Slightly nerfed, should still work.